Hello, my fellow anglers. Today, I'm going to tie up a Sculpin imitation, and it is very, very simple to tie, and it can be quite effective. I've had a lot of fish come along and eat this sucker. I got a size 10 hook up on here. You can tie them bigger. Heck, you could tie it smaller if you wanted. I don't know why you'd want to, but boy, I tell you, I'm just scatterbrained. Oh, there's my line. There's my thread. Okay, all we're gonna do is take and secure some brown thread on here on the hook, and we'll clip our excess off here. These Sculpins are everywhere. They're a great fly to imitate. The only thing that can rival a Sculpin is a good crayfish or a good black-nosed dace. What I've got here is these little things that they call it's a barred zonker strip, I guess. You can see, I think it's either mohair or rabbit fur. It's probably rabbit fur strip. And what I'm going to do, I got to clean it up a little bit. I was using it before and it got sort of chewed up a little. All I'm going to do is I'm going to measure out the length of the hook with this stuff, okay? So that it's just as long as the hook itself. So really, I mean, you get away with using about, on a size 10 hook, you're using about, less than half an inch, and then figure out, pull off towards the end of it any fur that's going to be flying out back, make sure you've got that in there. And then come over here and clip it right off. Very small amount of this fur. Okay. Nothing too super duper fancy going on here. And you're looking at this thing going, come on now, how's that gonna work? I'm looking at it going, how's this gonna work? I don't know, maybe this is kind of a dry piece. I think I'm gonna pull some out of it. But it'll work, that'll work. You'll see what I'm about to do. Alright, so now I've got this Hare's Ice dubbing golden colored. It's like a goldish kind of color, but it also has some green flash and orange flash type stuff in it. And we're going to grab a fairly decent amount of that. And we'll stick it right up on our thread here. This stuff is going to end up bleeding into everything. It just goes everywhere. I don't know if it's the way the dubbing is or what, but it goes all over the place, which is a good thing for this fly. So we'll wrap it in there nice and thick. This is basically the main body of the fly. We'll wrap it up to the head. We'll make our way back down towards the back of the fly. Okay, it's on there. And now I'm going to take some more of this dubbing. Well, it's a fairly decent amount. And we'll put it on there again. Now, you can definitely tie this up with, some dumbbell eyes to keep the hook upside down. But I don't have any weight on me. I don't have any dumbbell eyes. But a lot of times what I'll do is when I tie the fly on, I'll get the tippet through the eye of the fly, and then I will, once it's through the eye, I'll tie a knot at that. You know what? This is so thin at the back. Whatever. I'll still be able to make it work. Nah, I don't like that. The back side of that's way too thin. It's not going to be bushy enough for me. So I'll cut out a new piece here. That's more like it. We want this sucker to be thick and bushy. Okay, I can use that piece for the collar later. Okay, so now we're dealing with this here. Okay, that looks more like something we can work with, huh? Well, like I was saying, once I have tied it through the eye of the fly, I'll tie a knot at the end of it, and when I tie my improved clinch knot, then I will slap a split shot at the bottom of that, and that sits underneath the fly and can click around along the rocks along the bottom, leaving an acoustic little clicking sound, and it keeps the fly right down low. And as you can see, what I've done here is I just sort of separated the fibers. I'm tying over through all this with this dubbing on the thread that I'm tying to secure this down, and I'm just segmenting the hairs into their own little compartmentalized sections, trying not to cover them, hide them in any way. But that's all I'm doing here. Skipping little sections at a time, coming up through it. Okay. As you can see, it's sort of got a. Well, you probably really can't see it, but this dubbing is very loose that I have on here as I'm wrapping it around it. It's not extremely loose, but it's pretty loose. And what that's going to do is just sort of intermingle and blend with with everything that's going on here, and it'll sort of bleed through into the fly as it's waving around and doing its thing, and this dubbing gets looser and looser, and it basically just sort of adds to the flash both above and below. Now I've got a little bit of hide left here at the head. That's basically, I can tie this down pretty thick here at the head of this, so you can see what's going on here. That's what I've got. Even though I segmented everything and it's all sort of it looked kind of crazy at first, now it's all, when it all comes together, I got this flashy stuff going through the fly. I got it along the bottom of the fly, and now right up at the head of this hide, all the hairs that were attached to it are now pulled back behind it, and I got this bit of hide sticking up here that I can I've been tying in front of it pretty thickly. Now I'm going to tie right in front of it on the actual hook of the, right by the eye of the actual hook, so now it's really secure. And I'm just going to clip this little nub of hide that's sitting here right off. I'm going to clip it back real small and out of my way. We don't want that thing just sort of causing any drag in the water, causing the fly to want to twist around or anything like that. We could trim it up pretty well without fear of losing the hairs associated with it. We'll wrap it right up all over that hide and make sure it's smushed right down. That's kind of the great thing about tying streamers. You're never really worried about putting too much thread on there and overweighing it or anything like that, because you kind of want them to sink a little bit, and you're not too concerned about all that. Next thing we're gonna do, remember this little piece here that I was gonna use at first, that little straggly guy? Well, what I'm gonna do, here we go with that dubbing loop again. I'm gonna tie a dubbing loop, wrap behind the dubbing loop. Oh, you know what? I better show you that a little bit more clearly. I showed it before on another video. I got this loop here I'm forming. I wrap it around one time, and I've still got this loop here. I don't know if you can really see it, but I've got a loop, and then I wrap behind that loop, and then I wrap in front of it again. Now that loop is secured along the bottom of itself, and now that that is done, I'm going to attach this little dubbing loop twister piece here. Oh, I kind of did it wrong. Come on, Josh, let's get this thing. There it is. Okay, I got that on there now. So now that I've got my dubbing loop, I'm going to take this and clip all these hairs right off the hide here. Alright, I'm just clipping the hide so that all I've got is loose hairs. Alright, here I got all these loose hairs. This is going to form the collar of the fly, right up at the head. So the trick to having a good dubbed hairs like this is to, once you've got them in the dubbing loop, you want to angle them. This is true with any dubbing loop, really. You want to try and angle them so that they're pointing downwards, because it'll help when it comes time to applying them. And it don't have to be perfect, but you do want to spread them out and give them a slight downward angle if you can, and try to keep them even and keep the long side out and the short side in. I don't know if you can see all that, but I'm going to attach this little twisty thing to it, and I'll go to town on it a little bit here and twist it up. Okay, and once that sucker's twisted up pretty good, and you're hoping that it don't just unwind on you. Okay, now we're just going to take and wrap this stuff on here, and with each wrap, as before with that mayfly nymph, I don't know if you've seen that video, with each wrap you want to pull the hairs back so that you're not hiding hairs that you previously attached to the fly. Okay, you just want to have a nice thick bushy collar up at the head. You don't want to lose any of your work from before. So once you've got that, then we just bring the thread up here. It's kind of a little long for my liking. Pull all this stuff back and secure that dubbing loop. Wrap underneath it. Oh, this little tool's getting in my way here, being problematic. Wrap underneath your dubbing loop. Keep it secure. Keep it from coming undone. You know, good, you know, maybe 10 wraps or whatever. I'm using really thin thread here. I haven't been switching off to any thicker threads, which is usually what you want to do when you're tying up a streamer. Use some Kevlar thread or something. And now I'm going to clip the dubbing loop away. No need for that anymore. She's on there. She ain't going nowhere. And we're just finishing off the fly. We got our collar tied in. We'll wrap that sucker right in here. I got some frayed up thread I gotta hide in there. You don't want junk thread. Alright, and then now that we've got our eye in there, we're gonna throw in a 1/2 inch or 3. After every 1/2 inch you want to kind of back it off. That really secures the 1/2 inch. I love these 1/2 inches. They're such effective little buggers. Just wrap it around with a loop on your finger, then slip that loop over top of the eye of the fly, and away you go. Alright, 3 of them on there. What the heck? They say the 3rd time's a charm. Well, I'm gonna do 4 of them. Alright, that sucker's on there. Clip off our thread and set her loose. And if you don't think that sucker's gonna catch you a fish, I know it's kind of hard to see. There's a lot of flash going on in here. There's a lot of flash happening in this little bugger, and it is so sort of segmented. If you ever look at a sculpin, they got big fins and everything else, and that nice thick collar up at the head there is going to it's really going to wave around. You should see this sucker in the water. It just flows and wiggles around so much. Very good fly with these barred zonker strips. And yeah, that's a nasty little bugger right there. Very good Sculpin imitation. Try it out. It don't look like much, but guess what, man? That sucker's landed some hogger doggers. And you can tie it much bigger than that too. Alright. Good luck. Happy fishing. I'll see you next time.